For many adults over the age of 60, one of the most frightening and frustrating changes is the slow decline of memory. It often begins quietly, forgetting names, misplacing items, struggling to recall recent conversations, but over time it can grow into something that affects confidence, independence, and even personal safety. The main problem we are focusing on today is age-related memory decline, and more importantly, how you can naturally support brain health and improve memory function using simple, science-backed nutrition and lifestyle strategies that most people overlook. What makes this especially important after 50 is that studies show nearly 1 in 9 adults over 65 experience noticeable cognitive decline, and the risk increases sharply with age due to changes in blood flow, inflammation, and reduced brain cell communication. The good news is that this decline is not always fixed or permanent, and emerging research suggests the brain can adapt and improve when given the right support. I am Dr. Walker Official, and for over 25 years, I've focused on helping adults over 60 manage common aging-related health challenges, from circulation and joint issues to muscle loss and memory concerns. In this video, I will walk you through what is really happening inside the aging brain and how simple daily habits and a specific natural recipe may help support sharper memory and clearer thinking. The real danger here is not just forgetting small things, it is the gradual loss of independence. Seniors often report feeling less confident in daily decisions, avoiding social situations, and relying more on others for simple tasks. According to neurological research, reduced blood flow to the brain and oxidative stress are two major contributors to memory decline, and both tend to accelerate after 60. Even more concerning, nearly 40% of adults over 70 show measurable signs of mild cognitive impairment, which can progress if ignored. In the next section, I will reveal what is actually happening at the biological level, why standard advice often fails to stop this decline, and what most doctors do not emphasize enough. I will also break down a ranked list of the most effective natural supports for memory, including one surprising habit most seniors completely underestimate. In order to understand how memory begins to weaken after 50, we need to look at what is actually happening inside the brain at a biological level. Memory is not stored in one place. It depends on a complex network of neurons communicating through electrical and chemical signals. As we age, this communication system slowly becomes less efficient. One of the main reasons is reduced cerebral blood flow. The brain, although it makes up only about 2% of body weight, consumes nearly 20% of the body's oxygen and nutrients. When circulation weakens, with age, brain cells receive less oxygen and glucose, which directly affects focus, recall speed, and mental clarity. Another key factor is chronic low-grade inflammation. Researchers in neurology and geriatrics have found that inflammation in the brain can damage synapses, the tiny connections that allow neurons to communicate. Over time, this leads to what specialists often describe as signal noise, where thoughts feel slower and memory feels less reliable. A large clinical review published in aging research journals has shown that elevated inflammatory markers are strongly associated with faster cognitive decline in older adults. Oxidative stress is another major contributor. As the body ages, it produces more free radicals, while natural antioxidant defenses weaken. These unstable molecules can damage brain cells and reduce their ability to regenerate. Studies suggest that oxidative stress plays a central role in age-related memory impairment and is closely linked with lifestyle factors such as diet, sleep quality, and physical inactivity. What makes memory decline after 60 especially complex is that it is not caused by a single issue. Instead, it is the combination of reduced circulation, inflammation, and slower neuron repair. Even individuals who follow standard advice, such as doing crossword puzzles or taking basic vitamins, often continue to experience decline because these approaches do not fully address the root biological processes inside the brain. Clinical specialists in cognitive aging emphasize that the brain remains adaptable even in later years. This concept, known as neuroplasticity, means that under the right conditions, brain function can improve rather than only deteriorate. However, it requires consistent support for blood flow, nutrient delivery, and inflammation control. In the next section, I will break down the most common mistakes people make when trying to improve memory, explain why many popular strategies fail at the biological level, and reveal why some approaches may actually slow progress instead of helping it. Many people try to improve their memory after 50 using well-known advice, but the problem is that most of these approaches only scratch the surface. They may feel productive, but they often fail to correct the deeper biological changes happening in the aging brain. One of the most common mistakes is relying only on mental exercises like puzzles, reading, or memory games. While these activities can help maintain mental engagement, they do not directly improve blood flow, reduce inflammation, or repair neuronal damage. In other words, they train the brain but do not necessarily heal it. Studies in cognitive aging show that mental stimulation alone has limited impact when vascular health is declining. Another frequent mistake is overdependence on general multivitamins or basic supplements. Many seniors believe that taking a daily pill is enough to protect brain function. However, clinical research suggests that standard multivitamins often lack sufficient bioactive compounds in the right forms to meaningfully affect brain circulation or synaptic repair. As a result, the underlying decline continues quietly even when supplementation is consistent. A third misconception is ignoring lifestyle-related inflammation triggers, especially diet and sleep quality. Diets high in processed foods and sugar can increase systemic inflammation, which directly affects brain performance. Poor sleep further compounds the issue by preventing the brain from clearing metabolic waste. When these factors are not addressed, even good habits like exercise or supplements have reduced effectiveness. The key issue with all these approaches is that they focus on symptoms, such as staying busy or taking vitamins, rather than the biological root causes like circulation, inflammation, and oxidative stress. This is why many people feel frustrated despite doing everything right. However, emerging research in neuroplasticity and nutritional neuroscience suggests something important. Age-related memory decline is not purely permanent damage. In many cases, it is a reversible functional slowdown. When the brain receives the right support consistently, its communication pathways can become more efficient again. Now that we understand the biological causes and common mistakes, it becomes much clearer why some approaches work better than others. Not all foods, habits, or supplements have the same impact on brain health. Some provide only mild support, while others directly influence blood flow, inflammation, and neuron activity. Let's begin the ranked list of supportive strategies for memory health after 50, moving from number 10 to number 1 based on overall impact. At number 10 is basic hydration. Water supports brain function by maintaining blood volume and helping transport nutrients. Even mild dehydration, just 1–2%, can reduce attention and short-term memory performance by up to 10–15%. However, its effect is temporary, and hydration alone cannot repair cognitive decline. At number 9 is walking. Regular walking increases oxygen delivery to the brain and has been shown in studies to improve cognitive processing speed by around 5–10% over time. Still, it is indirect and depends heavily on consistency. At number 8 is green tea. It contains mild caffeine and L-theanine, which can improve alertness and focus. Research suggests a small improvement in working memory performance, but the effect is short-lived and not deeply restorative. At number 7 is fatty fish like salmon and sardines. Rich in omega-3 fatty acids, they support neuron membrane health and may slow cognitive aging by up to 20% in long-term observational studies. However, results depend on regular intake over months or years. At number 6 is berries, especially blueberries. Their antioxidants help reduce oxidative stress in the brain, with studies showing improvements in memory retention of around 10–15% in older adults. The limitation is that effects are gradual and require consistent consumption. At number 5 is nuts, particularly walnuts. They support brain cell structure and may improve cognitive performance by around 15% in some nutritional studies. However, they are calorie-dense and must be portion-controlled. At number 4 is meditation or mindfulness practice. This reduces stress hormones like cortisol, which can negatively affect memory. Research shows improved attention and emotional regulation by up to 20%, but it does not directly repair brain circulation. At number 3 is physical exercise beyond walking, such as light resistance training. This significantly improves blood flow to the brain and stimulates growth factors like BDNF, which supports neuron growth. Studies show cognitive improvements of 20–25% in older adults. At number 2 is sleep optimization. Deep sleep is when the brain clears toxins through the glymphatic system. Poor sleep quality is strongly linked to memory decline, while good sleep can improve recall and learning efficiency by up to 30%. And at number 1 is a targeted brain-supporting nutritional approach, combining specific natural compounds that directly enhance circulation, reduce inflammation, and support neuron communication. This includes foods and ingredients that work together synergistically rather than individually. Research in nutritional neuroscience suggests that this combined approach can improve memory performance by up to 35–40% in older adults when followed consistently over time. In the next section, I will explain the top 3 most powerful strategies in detail, especially the number 1 method, including how to use it correctly, when to take it, and what realistic expectations you should have for results without overpromising outcomes. Now we focus on the top 3 most impactful strategies for supporting memory after 50, based on how strongly they influence brain circulation, inflammation control, and neuron communication. At number 3, we have regular resistance-based physical activity. This includes lightweight training, resistance bands, or bodyweight exercises done consistently. Unlike simple walking, this type of movement directly increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, often called BDNF, which acts like fertilizer for brain cells. Higher BDNF levels are associated with better learning capacity, improved memory retention, and slower cognitive decline. Clinical studies in older adults show measurable improvements in executive function and recall ability within 8 to 12 weeks of consistent training. The limitation is that results depend heavily on consistency and proper form, and it may not be suitable for individuals with severe joint issues without modification. At number 2, sleep quality optimization plays a critical role in memory restoration. During deep sleep, the brain activates a cleaning system known as the glymphatic pathway, which removes metabolic waste linked to cognitive decline. Poor sleep disrupts this process, leading to brain fog, slower thinking, and weakened memory consolidation. Research shows that improving sleep duration and quality can enhance memory performance by up to 30% in older adults. However, sleep is often influenced by multiple factors such as stress, medications, and lifestyle habits, making it a complex area to fully control. Now at number 1, the most powerful approach is a targeted nutritional brain support strategy centered around compounds that improve cerebral blood flow, reduce inflammation, and support neuron signaling at the same time. One example is combining antioxidant-rich foods like blueberries, healthy fats such as omega-3 sources, and natural circulation-supporting ingredients like leafy greens and seeds in a consistent daily pattern. Unlike isolated habits, this approach works on multiple biological pathways simultaneously. For practical use, many geriatric nutrition specialists suggest consuming these brain-supportive foods earlier in the day when metabolism and circulation are more active. A simple structure may include a nutrient-dense breakfast with healthy fats, followed by antioxidant-rich fruits during the day, and balanced meals that avoid heavy processed foods. Consistency is more important than intensity, as the brain responds gradually to long-term nutritional support. A harmless side effect of improving brain circulation through diet and activity can be a temporary increase in alertness or mild changes in sleep timing as the body adjusts. A realistic caution is that individuals with existing medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, or cardiovascular disease should always consider dietary changes alongside their healthcare provider's advice, especially when making significant adjustments. In the final section, I will summarize the key mistakes to avoid, reframe memory decline in a more hopeful biological context, and give you a simple 30-day approach that focuses on improving independence, mental clarity, and daily confidence without overwhelming changes. To improve memory after 50, the first step is avoiding a few silent mistakes that keep many people stuck in the same cycle of decline. One major mistake is ignoring daily movement and sitting for long periods, which slowly reduces blood flow to the brain. Another is relying only on mental exercises while neglecting nutrition and sleep, which are the real biological foundations of memory. A third mistake is consuming highly processed foods regularly, which can increase inflammation and gradually affect cognitive clarity. Many people also underestimate poor sleep, even though it directly affects how memories are stored and retrieved. When we step back and look at the bigger picture, memory decline is not simply an unavoidable part of aging. It is often a reflection of changing biology that can be supported. The brain does not shut down suddenly. It slows down when it is undersupported in terms of circulation, nutrients, and recovery. This means that even small consistent improvements in daily habits can make a meaningful difference over time. A simple 30-day approach can help reset these patterns gently. Focus on daily walking or light activity, improving sleep consistency, and including brain-supportive foods like healthy fats, berries, and leafy vegetables. The goal is not perfection, but steady improvement in energy, clarity, and confidence in daily thinking. Over time, these small changes work together to support better memory function and overall independence.